My name is Yvonne O'Neill. I speak as a woman of African descent, a native of the British Virgin Islands, a member of the NGO Committee on Financing for Development, and as a representative of Africa Development Interchange Network. I also speak as one who carries in her body the memory of slavery and in her advocacy the urgency of justice. The sovereign debt crisis is not only an economic issue, it is a justice issue, a climate issue, and a development issue. For too long, the global debt system has functioned as a mechanism of control rather than liberation, particularly for African nations and their descendants throughout the diaspora. As we reflect on El Compromiso de Seville, I lift up its call for a just, inclusive, and transparent global financial architecture. That commitment must mean more than words. It must translate into action, into structures that prioritize people over profits and dignity over dependency. Let me offer 3 critical points. First, the debt burdens of African countries and small island states are unsustainable and illegitimate in many cases. These debts are often linked to colonial exploitation, unfair trade terms, and global shocks like COVID-19 and climate change, for which we are not responsible. Yet we pay the highest price. We need a new multilateral debt workout mechanism that is automatic, fair, and not dictated by creditors behind closed doors. A UN convention would be helpful in that sense. Second, we must confront the role of credit rating agencies, whose biased assessments inflate the cost of borrowing for African and Caribbean nations. This worsens inequality and locks us out of capital markets. El Compromiso de Seville commits to tackling systemic imbalances. This must include rethinking the governance of these agencies and supporting the development of regional alternatives. Third, we need to embed climate vulnerability and historical injustice into debt discussions. The current frameworks ignore both. How can we talk about sustainability when small island states are one hurricane away from economic collapse? How can we talk about development without addressing the massive outflows of wealth caused by illicit financial flows and capital flight, which drain African economies? The time has come for debt justice as a pillar of reparative justice. We must build a system that recognizes the shared but unequal histories that got us here, and that creates space for sovereign choices rooted in the aspirations of our people. If Seville is to be remembered, let it be remembered not for fine declarations, but for decisive action, for listening to the voices of the Global South, for dismantling systems that extract and control, for finally making good on the promise of development on our terms. Thank you.